Okay, so another day, more recording, and to be honest, I was actually considering about to go on break and go do something else, but I'm sitting here logging the reward store here and getting ready to cash out my points. That way they go to my bank account rather than sitting there. And I noticed something a little weird with the site here. So Google wants to translate this. The site is in English. Pay attention to the paste button. It lowercased it. Now click options. It thinks it's in German because that was an uppercased letter. And nothing else changes on this page. Like everything else is pretty much. I think actually the real reason it thinks it's German is because it's this part down here, which is euros, and they most likely got that primarily in German. Uh, Potentially this down here. Let's reload the page and actually take a look at it. Yeah, this is German. Yeah, because you got German here. I'm pretty sure this is Spanish. This is basically the same as this one. The only difference is this is the UK's version, this is the American version. I thought it was a little weird looking at that the, Google can't tell the difference. I feel like what should have been done with this is that the site should detect what region you're in and then show these per region. That way it doesn't auto-translate or something, but it doesn't matter. Twitch is about to take this completely over, so yeah. I'll close that. Anyways, since we're doing a recording anyways, let's get back into doing dev work. Now, between the last video, I did more work on GUIs. I was actually considering just taking the whole day working on GUIs and not recording this, but I need to make videos and do things and work and stuff, yeah. I might as well be recording it all while I'm working because, I mean, that gives you guys a chance to look at it, and if you guys don't really care, you can just skip the video and move on and just watch the demos whenever I get done with this system. I still need to actually make a demo on the sentry guns here. I haven't done that yet, and I need to make a demo on the new updates to the launchers, which nobody's gonna know a significant difference between them because the new launchers and the old launchers operate the same. It's just the back end changed significantly, which is not really that big of a deal. Hopefully, I also get some more work on that back end though, because I still want to try to shoot to get updated by the end of this week, which is 4 days, which may not happen. And then the new goal will be the end of next week. And if that doesn't happen, we just keep shooting for the next week every single time until we hit the 15th, which then I got to restructure my whole entire goal system because I'll have class again and who knows how much free time I'll have. As I'm on my final year of school, and yeah, I only got 8 classes left. So I'll be taking 3 this semester, 3 the next semester, and 2 the following. And then hopefully I don't fail any so I don't have to retake any. And then I'll have my bachelor's in computer science. I'll be so happy. Not really though. I mean, I could be either way, have the degree or not have the degree doesn't make too much of a difference. Because the plan is to do this stuff and make games and write my own software. Plan is to approach actually several different avenues in order to pay to continue to do stuff. Because the plan is if I go make an application, I make a whole bunch of money, then I take that money and reinvest it to go make another application and continue modding. Because if I can make money off of something, I can continue modding for free. And the plan is someday to get to the point where I'm making so much money that I don't have to ask you guys for money. I don't have to put ads on my stuff. I can donate my curse reward points to other mod developers so they can continue doing this stuff. Hell, I can even pay other mod developers to make mods, which would just be amazing. Where I'd just be going, hey, I want to make these beautiful mods, but I don't have enough time. Here, you can come in. I'll pay you a salary. I'll get you work experience, and you can come and build a mod, which would be the ultimate goal. Anyways, we're working on this. You won't notice any difference between the last version, but I added auto hugging on the buttons. You'll notice the scroll bar got a little bit closer here. If I resize this scroll bar auto moves. The scroll bar buttons auto resize with height, so if we change the number of components, they auto resize. The plan is to get everything auto resize. So we're using relative positions, by the way, which is the way this works. This is going, my relative position to the parent component is basically the width minus the width of the button. Because if you don't do the minus width of the button, it will actually render over here. I have some debug that I had to use for that, and I spent most of the morning working this. I got up at like 4 in the morning, and it took me 5 hours to get this whole system working because multiple bugs kept propping up. As well as I started looking into the ideal of getting rid of the system I'm trying to develop. So we're extending the button right now, which is what I'm talking about. in order to get all of our stuff to work. And I'm like, the button is not exactly designed for what I want to do. And I was going, you know what, let's look at if we can just ditch the button and do what we want to get it done. But I ended up just sticking with this because I'm like, I don't need to spend too much time on this. I need to get this done and so I can move on. One thing though is with the relative positioning change, I did sort of break things. These no longer are in the right spot. At least this is relative to its parent. The parent container is that thing back there. And then this right here is the array thing like this over here. You also notice that I've got alpha transparent backgrounds we're using on both of these. It's harder to tell over on the left side because it's really, really gray. There's blending enabled. So if you put two of the same colored alpha on top of each other, they just kind of add together to make a more opaque looking thing. But it's okay. I kind of want to get some alpha transparent buttons too to put over top of here because I mean I like to look at the back. You can see this village behind here and it looks so nice. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Toss this out here later. But for this video, we're going to focus on fixing the translation here and getting our stuff done. I actually started on the frame system too. I know last video we made the frames and we didn't get far with them. I actually did program a little bit of behavior of how we're going to do the group system. I also kind of sub-packaged everything so we can find things. So there actually are frames now. We can actually open these if we wanted to. The first one we're going to do is the edit frame thing. And how this works, if I can go find, I think it's a group frame? No, it's not this thing. I think it's the array callback. Wrong again. What is our system right now? I think it's a group entry. Here we go. So if we put in right here, we could go, what is our parent object? I think get host right now is how it works. Yeah, get host. Of course I need to cast. Actually, this should auto cast. Why isn't it set for auto casting? Something's messed up. Okay, here's a component container. Something's funky. Yeah, we're missing something here. I think I could just go get host, which would be. Oh no! I know it's wrong. I need to get something. I'm trying to think of how to do this. So we've got a group entry. The group entry is an object. It's a child object of the thing. I need to figure out what get host is. I think it is this GUI down here, but what I want is this right here, which would, I think I could just go get parent. No, that won't work either. No, that should work because something's weird though. So I had this working earlier. I knew exactly how to do it. I had a GUI opening, and then for some reason I deleted the code, probably because I was having problems with this and it was all buggy. Which, by the way, these are actually fixable. Let me focus on that. Let me get the buttons fixed. So what we want to do with the buttons is when we make them, we want to set their relative positions. So you want to go group button dot set group button 0 dot set relative position. We then want to go new hug X side. Then we need this. And it's our first button, so we need to know our spacing. Our spacing is technically X, is what we need. But it's actually this one right here. So it's 12 times 2. And then we want to false, I think, on this one. Yeah, because it's how it goes is the hug X. You ask it for the left component. So do you want to hug to the left side or do you want to hug to the right side? We want to hug to the right side. So this way it gets the width of the component and returns it, and does the super. The super is where our offset stored, so our X offset. We're setting the X offset. We say we want to be 24 away from the edge. We're probably gonna have to adjust this. It might have to be like 12 times 3, but we'll get to that. Yeah, that needs to be 12 times 3. And I believe these actually need to be minuses, because the value it's going to get back is a width. So we want to do negative width in order to get our position correct. That should, in theory, when we go to reload, fix itself. Or it'll completely ignore me. Okay. I reloaded right, so we hit reload. Yeah. The thing is, the buttons already might be made, so let me try reloading the GUI. Do this, click that. Ah, you're still in the same spot. I think it's a problem with the fact that the group entries don't actually have a width value on them. No, they have a width of 190. So, oh yeah, no, wait, we forgot to remove this code. That's why it's all screwed up. There's an easy way to fix this. Click this, click that. They've already set. Gonna have to reload. Still broken. We remove that line. What's causing it to mess up now? So we're asking for this thing. We're saying we don't want to hug the left side. We want to hug the right side. So we should get a width value. So the problem with working with GUIs, this is the reason I hate GUIs, is this happens. It's not just there's not just a problem with these messing up like this. If you go mess with Java GUIs or Java FX GUIs, you run into the same issue because of the lack of documentation and everything else, and the lack of understanding. You end up making problems like this because you want to make your stuff auto-update. The goal of making a GUI is to make it highly flexible. That way, no matter what you do to it, it works. By the way, I set these to 0 position-wise because that variable get deleted anyways by the relative position. So yeah, these aren't working. I can't think of why. I don't know why we're running update position twice. We don't need to do that. Okay. Reload. I mean, they act like they're working. They act like we're getting that negative value, but they're getting the corner here, which is acting like we're hugging left for some reason. This actually needs to be -9. So we want that to be on the very edge. And we want this to be -9 minus 12, and then this would be -9 minus 12 times 2. That'll be the actual sizes of these. And we also, by changing this, I kind of want to see if we reload here. Yeah, this didn't act like they moved at all. What's going on with this? Are we not getting reload behavior out of this? We might very well actually be having that problem because the frame is created, and I don't think it reloads. It's not working. No, I think it is, because this is exactly 9 pixels off of the edge. Because if we do the debug, the top left corner is your actual position start. So it's acting like it's not getting the width from its parent component. So we got this, which is a group entry. So we should be getting this guy's position plus its width, which the width is 190. Yet it doesn't act like it's working. I mean, these are being added. Relative position is being set. We're updating position data, so I mean, these will get updated no matter what. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, if component is an instance of group entry, then I'm going to just, we have to like system out something here, print line. It doesn't have to be anything, just be like a number. The reason you do that is so we have a debug line to stick there, because if you just left an empty thing, Java will remove it. Okay. So I kind of want to see what's happening here. So we're left on false. We're setting our relative path. So this is a button 9 pix. Our X position is 97 right now. It's going to be 97 after we do that. Our parent component is group entry. Its position is 130, 50. So how did we get 97 here? That's the problem right there. Is that we returned 97, and we have 130, which is our position. I mean, we're getting our minus value off there, so we're clearly getting that minus of 24 plus 9. That's 23, or those numbers don't add up. 24 plus 9 would be, yeah, no, that's right, that's 33. So yeah, the math is working, it's just our width variable isn't being added. Our width is, okay, so there's something reversed here. So our width and height is 0 on here for some reason, and we need to figure out why. So that's probably the group entry. That's probably these variables being switched somewhere. No. How did our width and height become 0? Doesn't make sense. Okay, so this goes in the super here, which then calls the super here. That's our width, that's our height. With height, okay. GUI component. We come up to here, with height. And we're passing with height. We're passing in 190 as our width. Yet at some point in time, our group entries width and height got set to 0. Okay, I don't see anything in here that does it. That doesn't actually make any sense at all, because the background is rendering. You see the background for the array, it's rendering. The group entries aren't rendering though. Because we would see, no, they might be rendering because we got this little opaque, actually they're not rendering, okay. So something set their width and height to 0, and I don't know what set it. So we needed to do something like this, look at this, yes, base method. Scroll bar, component container. Calculate, it's calculate size is needed, is what's causing it. Okay. So we want to go calculate sizes, or no. Resize as needed equals false. Apparently this is not running properly. Which I'm not surprised, because that code is pretty much experimental. I'm trying to get it to work. The ideal is that the container would auto resize for all of its child components, and you wouldn't have to worry about it. Presto, they're gone. No, they're there. Still broken. I mean, that should have been the problem right there. That should have been it. Guess we gotta go back to doing the debug here. Okay. Our component is group entry. Width and height are still 0. How? I forgot I could set value. That's kind of cool. Can I actually do an add watch there? I don't know if it's going to work right. So yeah, our math is pretty much being screwed up by the fact that the component size is not working properly. Maybe if I close the GUI and reopen it. Ah, yes, there we go. There's our problem. It's the values were cached. Okay, so we got our components working the correct area. Now we need to fix our parent component here. You see the parent which here, which is our frame. That's not being set with the correct size. And then we need to get our subcomponent relative to this one so that way the corner is right there. That's our next goal here. And I need to remove my debug line. So get rid of that. So yeah, that calculate resize is just not working. So let me go and find it real quick. And we're going to do this is false by default. We're just going to turn it off until I get it working because it should work, but something's weird. Because how that works is it basically gets the, not necessarily the size of the subcomponents because that won't help you figure out how big you need to be. It gets the positioning logic and the size of the component. So it goes, okay, and you know, actually what might be wrong with that, it might be getting negative numbers. That might actually be what's up with it. I'll fix that later-ish. But we want to work on the group frame. No, not the group frame. We want to, yeah, it's the group frame, but not that group frame. We're going to work on this. So this has some kind of size variable we want to set up for it. Let's do 200 by 200. I think I can actually just do pretty much this and that. Super frame. Oh wow, yeah. Apparently I'm going to have to set it by hand. So this would be this set height, or we'll do width first, I guess. This won't update until I reload the GUI, but we can go here and that's better. 200 by 200. Now we need to get this to be relative. So GUI array. I wonder if there is is there a relative callback for this? There is not. We can make one though. So we just want to go, yeah, we just go group array dot set relative position, and we kind of just want it to hug left, so we go new hug x side, and it'll be this 0 true because we have to hug the left side. And what this does, by the way, this doesn't really do squat. It's pretty much an empty variable. But then we don't have to worry about setting the position here, and it'll just update itself. We will have to reload that GUI though. There we go. Hugs the corner now. Looks actually okay. We could expand the size here. So what we would figure out, like, we got 5 here, so we can do another 5 here, another 5 here. I think 17 would be a good size for the number of rows here. Go ahead and reload that. We'll have to reload the GUI because it isn't going to react in real time. Or it's going to ignore. This is a static variable. Which means it probably isn't going to work anyways. I need to get the collars changed for these. I have to work on that. Not too big an issue. I think we're just going to focus on getting the buttons working now. Because we've spent too much time on just trying to get all this back-end stuff working, and right now we need some functionality. We need to get functionality rolling. That way we can then transition over to getting the update rolling out, and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not looking forward to that update still. So much work to do. So we want to go to group entry, and we need to figure out how to get our GUIs and stuff. Or how to actually get host is probably the best bet. And we get host, and then we cast the host to the GUI access system, because the host is going to be that GUI access system, without a doubt. Is when we go to make our GUI, we add it to this, which would set its host as this. So then we want to go load frame, and we want to go new GUI frame group. That's going to need the host again. And we need an ID, X, and Y. The ID is not as important, so we're just going to set this to like 6 or something. The X and Y are, so we're going to want to get the X position here, we want to get the Y position of this, because that'll work. I mean, we don't need something perfect, we just need to be able to open that GUI. What we're going to do is we're going to click and just going to test to see if this works. And yeah, you saw the GUI appear, and you don't see anything there, but it did open. Okay, so now what we want to do with the group frame, we need a back button, and then we need a few other things. So we're gonna have to close Minecraft because we're gonna have to write a whole bunch of code here real quick. So here's our frame group. Here's this. Okay. Let's go ahead and just set our size to be identical. We're just, you know what? We're gonna copy this whole thing. No, I'm in the wrong thing. Not paying attention whatsoever. So we want to do this. Apparently the parent's already set, so what happened here that we're GUI frame access. Oh, we're not extending GUI frame access, that's what's happened. Okay, this will be super, and then we can do parent. There we go. I think we're good on that. So we just need to come over here and we need to paste what we just copied in. Okay, so we're going to need a back button. The reason we're not going to put a back button on here is because this is a main GUI and this is a sub GUI. We need, I think I already have a button for this. Left, right arrow, there we go. Back button. And then we go back button equals, and we have to do add new GUI left, right arrow. And we need an ID for this, so we're just going to call it 0. And what's the methodology for this? Left. So 0, 0, and yeah, left will be a good direction to do it. And this action needs to be true. And we'll go back button dot set relative position, and this will literally just be a new GUI relative position. And then we'll do 0, 0 because we don't really care where it's at. It just needs to sit basically on the top. Actually, we'll offset it by 2 from each corner. That way it doesn't look horrible. And then we need to add implementation for the back button. So when it's pressed, we need to have so to be action performed. And what we do in the action performed for this is we just tell the host GUI we want to go back. So we go, we'll go int ID equals button. Get ID or ID apparently. This will be if ID equals 0, get host dot load frame last open frame. Okay, so that should work. We should get a size variable here. So a few other things we probably want to do, like render a title bar and start rendering settings about it, but we'll start small. We won't get ahead of ourselves. At least cool thing with the relative position stuff, I can move this GUI around if I ever want to, and I don't have to worry about it. I can resize it, and all the buttons will move with it, and I don't have to do a whole bunch of work every time. Just the whole goal of doing this is that the plan is to transition everything to relative, including slot renders. So you go, okay, slot, set relative position, and then you'll set it to be like 20/20 from the corner. And you don't have to keep track of where your slot is. And the same thing goes for the buttons and the text. You'll just be like, hey, I want you to render from the corner here. And then if you resize your GUI, you can auto do it. And apparently my dog's gonna whine at me. I guess I'll talk while I walk and let her outside. But yeah, so we do all of this and should get a really nice responsive GUI system eventually, along with other things. And then of course, once we get it all prefabbed out and we get it all set up properly, then we can transition all of our GUIs to the JSON system, which will then remove the need to even give a crap about what's going on in the back end. Because then you just make a GUI and you go, here's where I want all my stuff in the GUI, and as long as the backend does exactly what it's supposed to do, you're good. So if I come down the road later and go, you know what, let's redo the entire backend and change it out to some kind of new system, or say some Minecraft update forces you to change your entire GUI system, it doesn't matter. You don't have to recode all your GUIs. You just have to recode the backend, which is the whole goal of the node system and everything else we're doing, is that we wouldn't have to remake our content. We just have to modify the backend every time we need to change something to take over for a new ability. This also brings mod compatibility into play. Like if I need to add NEI support to a GUI, I can do it automatically in the backend, or I can say in my JSON system load NEI support, and it would automatically do that. Or JEI, which is the new one. I think it's, yeah, I don't think there's a lot of other support you really need to add. I can add support for BuildCraft's little energy pipes, you know, the little thing you click and it shows up and goes, here, you're using this much energy. I can add that automatically. That would be just a GUI component. You go, okay, I want you to render on the left-hand side of my GUI, or over the top of my GUI. So much really cool things you can do once you prefab all this out. Okay. No, that didn't work. What did I mess up? Oh. Parent dot. Oh, you can't add it. Okay, we're gonna have to close this and I'm gonna have to fix some things. And I think my dog's barking at me to let her back in. I just let her outside and she's like, let me in, let me in. Yeah. I need to make this public because we open the GUI, but it's not rendering. So it's like, here's your current GUI, but we're not actually there. So we'll have to add it to the parent, and then when we close, we go back, we'll go, okay, get host, remove, and that'll be this. And then I need to go see if, okay, so this will be here, and go to base. Do we have a remove call? We don't have a remove call. So it'd be public void remove. This would just be a GUI component. So I think, yeah, so actually be button, because we can add buttons. You know, go if button list dot contains button. The reason we're checking if we're contained is we might fire events later, but you just want to go, okay, button list dot remove and button. So if we remove a component from here, we might want to go, hey, reinitialize the GUI or resize components or update positions. Actually, I think, can we do update positions? No. We could call update screen though. There's some other stuff we would do in here, but nothing that needs to be taken care of right this minute. This will work though, so that'll get us a remove call. So we'll remove our component from our GUI because it's dead. That component's dead as soon as we leave, and we go back to the other thing. It's gone. And I need to do this real quick so that way we don't. So this will be false. There's no return point on the group's GUI when it's opened. We do want a return point when we open this. So I'm going to go true. And then on here we want to false because we're kind of a dead GUI. I'm going to have to probably revisit this code a little bit because we may decide we want to open up the group edit frame from a completely different spot of the GUI, which then we would want a return call here. We'll handle it as we go. Right now it's not exactly that big of a deal if we mess it up. Because after all, the group frames right now have a specific use, and I can't imagine I'm going to use them anywhere else at the moment. especially since this whole frame system is designed exclusively for whatever this GUI stuff is. And let me go walk to see if my dog needs to be let back in. It's the only problem with not having a good recording time. Come on, cat, move away from the door. Yeah, apparently the dog did want back inside. The cat's all pissed at me too because I told her to move away from the door. This cat will camp the door and try to get any and all opportunities to escape. She doesn't necessarily like hate being here, but I think she wants to go outside. The only unfortunate thing is the cat's got like allergies and asthma and stuff, so we can't exactly let her run around. On top of that, there's a couple highways nearby, and a motorist isn't going to give a crap about running over a cat. Anyways, wait for this to load and we'll check to see if that's working, and then as soon as that pops up GUI-wise, I'm going to really quickly take and copy that code and prefab it out, I guess. Yeah, I'll really quickly, I'll make something called GUI subframe, and it'll be designed with back buttons. And that way I don't have to recode the back button for every single GUI. This is taking longer to run than expected. Did I accidentally... I don't think I accidentally launched the full thing, did I? No, we're running light client. Okay. God, if this is taking forever, imagine the heavy client being run. I'm going to have to profile this and see what's causing the delay. Actually, let's scroll up real quick and... It's not the JSON system, because the JSON system is basically running in under a second. Yeah, because you see it start here, and it's basically still running on the same second all the way down. And you keep going down, and even the cast system runs, and then you see the IC2 stuff running, and or that's actually a Gary Craft, I think. Yeah, okay, so it's not the JSON system, so that's ignoring that. I still need to profile it though to see how long it does take to run, so I can put some numbers up on the site when I eventually put all the JSON stuff up on the site. It'd be like, hey, this runs in perfect time, so people when they go to complain, it's like, oh, but I've heard JSON loads slow. It's like, no, it doesn't. Yeah, I got that. Here we go. We're missing our button though. Our button is nowhere to be found. So what did we mess up on our back button? We're adding it here. We probably didn't initialize our GUI. That's what we're missing, which... how are we doing this right now? So I think when I create my GUI, yeah, we just initialize it. How I'm going to do it is I'll go current frame dot init GUI and we'll do it that way. And we'll just go ahead and do this real quick. There we go. Here's our back button. It is not where it should be. That's up in the wrong position altogether. It should be relative to this, but it's for some reason relative to that, and it's not working either. Trying to think of what we need to fix here. So we got initialized. We're going, hey, this is our relative position to this. We're adding the button to our object, which then should be rendered on our object. If we hover over it, it's working, so we're getting event calls. I'm not getting a click, so it's not returning true when I clicked it. Which tells me potentially either it's not rendering the correct spot. Well, then again, that's rendering properly, so the hover state's good. Relative position's not. Which doesn't make any sense. Oh, we're in the wrong. I'm in the wrong class file. Okay. We're not hugged too off the edge, are we? So what I need to do is update positions. There we go. So yeah, we get our back here, we go each one. You see how it's moving down each time? Derp. Oh well. It's working though. We got to do some work and stuff, and I don't know why the background here changed colors dramatically. Something's weird. We'll fix it. So we needed update position, so that needs to be worked on, I guess. I'll figure out something, but so we need different components on here. We need to render some stuff, so I need to go find the render calls. I think oh yeah, they're in component. So we want do render pretty much, and we make sure we call super do render, because if we don't do that, it'll screw up. Yeah, we'll do it this way. My brain's going like, there's probably a better way to handle this, and the better way would be to make subcomponents to do all your rendering for labels and everything. Also, we need to come over here, and this needs to be get parent component dot exposition. That way, that fixes the y level in xy. Okay. Don't need that. Okay, and here we want to render whatever group we have. So we need to keep track of the group. So final string group ID. This will be string group. And that means I do actually have to open this back up. This already keeps the group ID, so we don't have to do anything special. We just got to do that. Okay. So what we want to do is we basically just want to render some data on here. So I'm going to draw string. Okay, string x, y, and then color. Okay, this needs to be plus 20, and we'll do plus 5 on that. This will be get host dot current profile, get group, and we want yeah, let's actually catch this, because I have a feeling we're going to do a whole bunch more with this in a bit. This will be access group, and it'll be group ID, and then from this we can also just go group dot get name, and then we want get extend name, so we can get group dot get extend group name. Okay. We'll go if group doesn't equal null. And we'll do an error code if it does. So we'll go like this. Okay, and this will be error could not not load group. I'm trying to think of what else we want to display with this, because the main thing with editing the group, the only thing you really need to do is edit the parent and the group settings. We don't exactly have any other group settings but changing nodes, and then that's going to be a different frame. And then we also need to change users, which is going to be different. That's actually the one we're probably going to hit up next after this video. This one's just kind of getting everything rolling again. I need to actually stop trying to make improvements to the GUI system, but I'm trying to get a curve around, or get a head start on all this stuff, make sure that I do it right the first time rather than coming back and be like, oh, I got to recode the whole thing, because this is where the situation I'm in right now, where I'm having trouble updating the 1.7 because I didn't do it right the first time, and now all my code is set up to be heavily dependent on the 1.7 code, which means if I go to 1.8, I got to restructure more than half my mod, which is something I don't want to do. So I'm trying to get everything kind of built up so that way the code's not dependent on a particular version, and that way when I go to 1.9, I'm not restructuring my mod. When I go to 1.10, I'm not restructuring my mod. The only thing I'll have to restructure would be Volt's engine, and it wouldn't be a heavy restructure. It'd be like a light-handed restructure, which is the goal. The goal is not to do a huge amount of work. That way I can focus on making content, features, stuff like that for you guys. Especially considering I'm working on 100 and something mod projects, with 39 of them being released right now. Time is something I don't have a huge amount of. Still looking for more mod devs. So anybody's welcome to join and help out. And yeah, we're looking for not only mod devs, we're looking for translators, we're looking for artists, we're looking for server people who just want to run servers, we're looking for testers, we're looking for wiki editors. I need people to write my wikis. I'm working on writing them, but I haven't had time to work on them, and therefore people haven't got the wiki, even though I kept saying, like, I'll have it done here in a couple weeks, and then a couple months later it's like, well, you still haven't done it yet, as well as ran out of time. Unfortunate. There we go, it's loaded up. I think I need to restart my computer so this actually loads quicker. I think I need to do a few other things as well. Still haven't got around to fixing my RAM speed, because I think there's an issue with that. Okay, we go in here. Those two are rendering over top of each other. We can fix that though, because why didn't I change this? There should be like 15. Okay, so Hosto doesn't have a parent, but if we go down to owner, its parent is admin, which then its parent is user, which then its parent's got none. So that's cool. Friendly's got none either, which is how it's supposed to be designed. So yeah, we got our stuff here. So what I'm going to do is just make a note real quick that there's no additional settings. And then we'll just say this is like 25. Actually, you know what, I want to test to make sure that position is correct, so we're going to copy this real quick, and we'll do that. So I go in here, oh no, current settings start render. What's render centered string? And we'll do the same thing with our error thing. We're going to make sure that error actually works. I'll test it in a second. There we go, that fixes that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to quickly just set the group to null. There we go, error could not load group. There we go, so that's set up, so we got good handling for that. And yeah, cool. So now our next step is to do these, which I'll do in the next video. So I'll see you guys in a bit.